We begin at noon with what could have been the largest grocery merger in U.S. history dissolving. Thanks for joining me. I'm Lauren Scafidi. We learned this morning Albertsons called off the business deal with Kroger. It comes just one day after two judges in Oregon and Washington halted it. Albertsons is now suing Kroger, accusing the chain of repeatedly refusing to divest assets that were necessary for antitrust approval. Several lawsuits filed to stop the merger cited antitrust violations, along with concerns it would decrease competition and result in higher consumer prices. The Federal Trade Commission was behind one of the suits, along with several states, including Colorado. Colorado has Kroger stores under the King Soopers name.
This is considerable peace of mind for Colorado consumers, because I know firsthand from these 19 town hall stops how much consumers are worried about a merger that in many cases was between two of the three places they might shop, or the only two places they might shop.
Both companies spent $1 billion in legal fees trying to get this merger to happen. 9 News legal expert Whitney Traylor says he thinks Albertsons filed this suit to try to make up some of that money.
So I think Albertsons just got the jump on them. And sometimes that is a litigation advantage, is if you can file first and get on the offensive first.
Whitney also told us Albertsons can still try to find another company for the merger. We should definitely feel warmer today, and look at that. There is plenty of sunshine out there now. Joining me is Keely Chalmers with our 9 News Weather Impact team. Keely, what a difference yesterday to today.
Oh, yeah. We topped out, as I said earlier, in the mid-30s for high temperatures yesterday. Today, we are already in the 50s, so much, much warmer. Our normal high for this time of the year is 44 degrees, so we're going to be well above that. And the only similarity, the winds. We're still getting windy conditions in the foothills and the Front Range mountains. But, yeah, what a different scene. This scene yesterday, winter-like, it looks spring-like as we take a live look at the Eisenhower Johnson Tunnel. Right now, 52 degrees. The DIA winds out of the west, only at 8 miles per hour. So certainly the wind's not an issue at DIA, but head up into the foothills. Again, we're still seeing those 30, 40 plus mile per hour winds. Those winds will increase a bit as we head into the afternoon. So expect 50 plus mile per hour wind gusts in the usual windy spots. But again, we should be calm around, across the plains. Current temperatures, we're in the 40s and low 50s across the plains, 20s, 30s in the mountains. Taking a live look at our radar. Quiet. We've got a ridge of high pressure building in. We are seeing a little bit more mountain wave cloud action than we initially thought. And that is bringing us a few more clouds, but still letting us warm up nicely into the low 50s as we head into the afternoon. And we'll be in the 40s by 4 o'clock. So again, warmer. That tops our weather headlines for today. Windy conditions decreasing today. Not seeing much impact with those winds. And mountain snow. Our next best chance comes on Friday. We'll talk more about that, how much we can expect coming up in your complete forecast in just a bit.
Thank you so much, Keely. Boulder police now say it looks like extreme drinking mixed with drug use made several students sick last weekend and not tainted drugs. Police responded to the Kappa Sigma house Saturday night for reports of several men who may have been overdosing. They say 5 men were treated either at home or in the hospital. At the time, police thought the students had possibly taken laced cocaine, so some were given Narcan. Now, they believe it was extreme alcohol consumption on top of the drugs. Detectives found cocaine at the home and they're now testing it. No one has been arrested. Police told us one of the students is still in the hospital, but they haven't said how he's doing. There's been a rise in thefts in dimly lit parking lots in Denver, so the city decided to shed some light on the situation. The city is setting new guidelines for proper lighting in parking lots and garages downtown after nearly 750 thefts between January and October this year. Parking lots are already required to have lights, but now there will be general rules to follow. Our Evan Krugel will explain those new rules and what's getting stolen the most coming up on 9 News at 3. Denver is looking at potentially getting rid of parking minimums. That means owners of some businesses, apartment buildings, and other areas could no longer be required to have a certain number of parking spaces for customers or residents. If it gets the green light, it would not affect existing parking lots. So, for example, you wouldn't lose your spot at your apartment. This would be for new developments and new businesses. Denver city officials hope getting rid of the parking minimum requirements would cut down time spent reviewing development applications and give more space to develop put more housing in a building rather than a big parking structure. They also think it'll make housing cheaper to build by leaving the parking in the hands of the developer, which will determine spaces based on demand.
The parking requirements are expensive, and estimates can see them as high as $50,000 a parking space for structured parking. All of those costs get passed on to consumers. So even if you don't drive, you're paying for parking. And it's in the cost of housing, it's the cost of goods and services that get passed on to everyone.
Those against the proposal argue that getting rid of parking minimums would make street parking even worse, but Denver's senior city planner says that's not the case. The city is working on research and community outreach, and no date is set yet for a city council vote. High schoolers in the Douglas County School District will soon be able to take an AP African American Studies course. The County Board of Education unanimously okayed it last night. The board delayed the vote last month because of pushback from some community members questioning its content. The course is an elective, so students don't have to take it. Some other school districts have politicized the course with false claims that it teaches critical race theory and pushes an agenda.
These stories are not tied to a political agenda. They are our experiences, all of our experiences. And for African American stories to be told, again, when you're teaching our history, you're teaching resilience, you're teaching innovation, you're teaching courage, you're teaching forgiveness. There is nothing political about that. That is inside of all of us, and we should be leveraging that at every opportunity.
Other districts around the area already teach the course, including Denver Public Schools and Cherry Creek Schools.